Now at 10 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, authorities provide updates on the death of an Edna cheerleader. This as one suspect is now arrested in her death. 3 suspects have been indicted in the case of a stolen tabernacle from an El Campo church. And a pregnant Texas woman who was denied court permission for an abortion has left the state to get the procedure.
While we had a lot of sunshine today, tomorrow the clouds start building up as we watch this storm develop over the southwest. We'll tell you when it'll start to rain here this week. All that coming up.
In the first place, Dallas Cowboys has a nice ring to it, but will they get a ring? I'll have what you and your neighbors are saying coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now after Monday Night Football. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker. Karina Garcia has the night off. One person is dead after a 2-vehicle crash on U.S. Highway 59 in Victoria County Monday night. DPS reports a truck tractor and a car were involved in the crash. It was on U.S. Highway 59 northbound near Fox Road. The female passenger in the car was pronounced dead. The driver of the car was taken to the hospital. DPS says the driver of the truck tractor was not hurt. Lisbeth Medina was found dead by her mother in her bathtub last week in Edna. Now, 25 News Now has obtained the preliminary autopsy results on Lisbeth Medina. 25 News Now reporter Adarius McCormick is in studio to share those results. Adarius?
That's right, Don. Preliminary investigations determined Lisbeth's cause of death to be sharp force injuries. The final report is pending. According to the National Institute of Health, these are injuries caused by any objects or implements with cutting edges or pointed ends, such as stabbing by a knife. Lisbeth Medina's mother, Jacqueline, found her in this condition just last Tuesday. After a 5-day investigation, the Edna PD and Texas Rangers arrested 23-year-old Rafael Romero. He is arrested for capital murder, which makes him eligible for death penalty if convicted. The suspect arrested in the case remains at the Jackson County Jail in lieu of $2 million bond. Don, back to you.
Adarius, thank you. A $100,000 bond was set for an El Campo police detective charged with aggravated sexual assault. KPRC reports 40-year-old Freddie Douglas was arrested and charged. Douglas was arrested at El Campo PD headquarters last week and then transported to the Brazoria County Jail. Douglas has been placed on administrative leave while under investigation. The investigation into the sexual assault started on November 16th after the incident was reported on November 8th. The 2 men accused of stealing religious items from St. Robert's Catholic Church in El Campo in September and the woman police say helped hide the stolen goods have been indicted by the Wharton County Grand Jury. The El Campo Leader News reports 29-year-old Jose Jaramillo and 44-year-old Thomas Graham were linked to the church theft, as is 61-year-old Sandra Hedges. The grand jury issued 2-count indictments against Jaramillo and Graham, and a single-count indictment was issued against Hedges. In Livingston, a student died in a fatal crash involving an 18-wheeler as he was getting off a school bus last Thursday. A teacher is now speaking out about the tragic incident.
It's just a sad situation for all of Livingston ISD.
Hours after a Livingston High School student was killed, counselors have been available to students and staff to listen and help those who might need assistance. Livingston resident and LISD substitute teacher Hannah Graham says the pain and shock can be felt through the whole community.
And it affects everybody in Livingston. We are a very small, tight community. Everybody knows everybody, so this is going to affect Livingston in a horrible way.
Graham says that she knows the driver of the school bus and that the driver and the family have her deepest condolences.
It's just a sad situation. The family needs lots of prayers. The bus driver is probably beyond devastated. She's a wonderful bus driver. She treats her kids like her own. She knows all their names.
Graham says her heart breaks for the child's family, knowing Christmas break is coming in about a week.
It's a tragedy, especially around the holidays. I mean, this is the time when families finally get together and you have time with your children, and so I just can't even imagine what it's like for them.
Livingston ISD said in a statement that our district lost a member of its family, and Graham having been with the district for over 10 years, says the word family is forever instilled within the district and its community.
And that's what we do around here. We come together and we support each other and show everybody love and do what we can for each other to make such a miserable moment become, just know that everybody has each other's back.
Tyree White, KLTV 7 News.
The Texas Supreme Court has overturned a court order that would have allowed a Dallas woman to get an abortion. The Texas Tribune reports the ruling came down hours after Kate Cox's lawyers announced she was leaving the state to end her non-viable pregnancy. A judge gave the 31-year-old Cox permission last week, but that decision was put on hold by the state's high court. The lawsuit said continuing the pregnancy posed a threat to Cox's health and future fertility. On Monday, she was 20 weeks and 6 days pregnant. Let's take a first look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis. Mac, you want to make a guess how much it's warmed up, considering it like in the last 24 hours?
Yeah, I mean, this morning we were at 32 for an hour. I mean, of course, then the sun came up and it warmed everything up. And then all of a sudden the cloud deck started thickening up as the south wind kicks back in. So we're back into the warmth and the humidity. Not particularly bad. Tomorrow we'll get up to about 70 degrees, but then remember, by the time we get to Friday, it looks like we've got a pretty good chance of some more significant rainfall, and we'll be certainly talking about that coming up in just a few minutes. Don, back to you.
Mac, thank you. The presidents of Harvard and MIT are facing growing pressure to step down, accused of failing to condemn anti-Semitism at their schools during a contentious hearing on Capitol Hill. It comes after the University of Pennsylvania president stepped down over the weekend.
As pressure grows for the presidents of Harvard and MIT to step down, Harvard President Claudine Gay now seeing a big show of support, hundreds of her colleagues signing a faculty petition addressed to the Harvard governing boards, standing by her and urging members to defend the independence of the university and to resist political pressures that are at odds with Harvard's commitment to academic freedom. This after Liz Magill, the president of the University of Pennsylvania, resigned over the weekend amid a barrage of criticism from donors, politicians, and alumni. All three university presidents under fire for evading this question from New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik at a hearing on Capitol Hill last week.
I am asking, specifically calling for the genocide of Jews. Does that constitute bullying or harassment?
If it is directed and severe or pervasive, it is harassment.
So the answer is yes.
It is a context-dependent decision, Congresswoman.
Penn's board chair, Scott Bach, also stepping down, but defending Magill in a statement, saying she made a very unfortunate misstep. She provided a legalistic answer to a moral question. It comes as the Department of Education investigates at least 15 schools and universities for reports of discrimination. Tensions running high at campuses across the country as the Israel-Hamas war rages on. This video shows a man climbing a menorah near Yale's campus during a demonstration over the weekend and hanging the Palestinian flag. Yale University has asked police to investigate, condemning the incident and calling it the desecration of a menorah, saying it sends an anti-Semitic message. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Illegal dumping of trash within Victoria County is a problem that keeps getting messy, causing county commissioners to find a way to clean up this messy and expensive problem. Kenneth Sexton, Precinct 4 Commissioner, says the dumping of trash is increasing inside his precinct at a fast rate, causing officials to neglect other projects in order to clean up the dump site. And that's just the beginning.
It's just complete disregard to public property. And, we estimate it costs us over $1,000 every dumping to clean up, not to mention law enforcement investigation time.
Sexton says the county is looking into installing cameras and increasing patrols in known dump site areas. The county has designated courtesy trash stations along with recycle stations located in precincts 1 and 4. They can be used by any Victoria County resident. For more information, visit vctx.org. To report illegal trash dumping, call 911. Here's your viewer poll tonight. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. Here's the question. Are you concerned about the illegal dumping of trash in your neighborhood? Yes or no? Let's look at the numbers. 65% of the voters say yes, they are concerned, and 35% say no. We thank you for voting. Governor Greg Abbott took part in a menorah lighting ceremony in Austin on Sunday on the fourth night of Hanukkah. Rabbis and other members of the Jewish community joined Abbott and other faith leaders for the ceremony. The governor has taken part in other menorah lighting ceremonies during his time in office, but this year's event comes as Israel battles Hamas in Gaza.
We unite for a cause far bigger than ourselves. We unite for the cause of Jews across the entire world and for the future of Israel.
The war is now in its second month. The conflict has sparked a rise in anti-Semitism and anti-Islam attacks across the United States. Authorities in D.C. cited 18 people today after they chained themselves to the White House fence. The group has called for a ceasefire in Gaza. Before U.S. Park Police intervened, they chanted, quote, "Biden, Biden, pick a side, ceasefire, not genocide," unquote. The president was in Philadelphia attending a campaign fundraiser. Park Police say each protester was cited and then released at the scene. State universities are facing pressure to respond to tensions from the Israel-Hamas war. You can read the Texas Tribune article on CrossroadsToday.com. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell so you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now, after Monday Night Football. Authorities in New York are working to search for survivors after an apartment building collapsed this afternoon. Also ahead, a strong weather system is impacting the northeast of the country right now after leaving a trail of destruction in the south. New York police are on the scene after a building partially collapsed in the Bronx this afternoon. It happened around 3:30 p.m. Firefighters and NYPD canines have searched the collapsed portion of the building for those who may be trapped inside. Firefighters are also scanning the collapsed portion of the building. No victims were located in primary search of the collapsed building, excluding the rubble area. Other buildings were also searched with no victims found. TikTok is a popular social media app among children and teens, but a new study finds that health information shared on the platform is often unreliable.
TikToks can be as short as 15 seconds. While that's great for fun videos or quick recipes, that's not enough time to get across important information. A study published in the British Medical Journal found that public health information on TikTok about the 2022 Mpox outbreak was mostly incomplete and inaccurate. Researchers assess TikToks about mpox based on the American Medical Association's criteria for reliability. Not a single video met all 4 of the criteria. On average, their rating was poor. The highest scoring videos were from doctors and science communicators, followed by nurses and then other users. It's a helpful reminder to find a verified source for public health like the CDC or your local health department. And if you have questions about your own health, your doctor is the best place to start. With this Medical Minute, I'm Justin Finch, ABC News.
Attorneys representing Hunter Biden have filed a motion to dismiss the gun charges he's facing in Delaware. Biden's lawyers argued the case violates Biden's Second Amendment rights and claim prosecutors reneged on a pledge not to charge their client with a gun charge. He is charged with obtaining a gun and lying on a federal form about his drug use. His attorney said he had the gun for 11 days and never fired a shot. In addition to the gun charge, Hunter Biden also faces multiple tax charges. The House is expected to vote to formalize the impeachment inquiry into President Biden on Wednesday. Former Speaker Kevin McCarthy declared the impeachment inquiry on September 27th, but subpoenas from the inquiry will carry more legal weight if the inquiry is approved in the full House. The White House has rebuked House Republicans for continuing to pursue the impeachment inquiry, insisting that Republicans have yet to uncover any evidence of wrongdoing. Severe weather has impacted parts of the Northeast. It's the same system that tore through the South, killing 6 people and flattening hundreds of buildings.
A dangerous storm hounding parts of the Northeast, with up to 5 inches of rain falling across the region. The system coming from the south, where at least 29 tornadoes were reported across 7 states this weekend. Tennessee hit especially hard. At least 6 people, including 2 children, were killed across the state. Over 30 more injured. Survivors mourning their lost loved ones.
I'm thankful that we're all alive, but what hurts me more than anything is he lost his life.
Clarksville, Tennessee, seeing an EF3 tornado with winds reaching 150 miles per hour.
We just got hit with a tornado. I saw it last minute.
You can see the tornado ripping through the area, debris flying in the air, buildings flattened in a matter of minutes.
Oh my gosh, everything's gone.
In Springfield, Chris Jones capturing the moment a tornado struck his workplace.
Get down, get down, get down, get down, get down. It was just like so surreal that this was happening. Instinct kicked in, everyone down. The roof started collapsing.
A twister, a powerful EF2 with 125-mile-an-hour winds, hitting this Nashville church with dozens of people inside. Some suffering broken bones and legs. The church destroyed, but everyone made it out.
We get to say good morning to our loved ones again.
Now that the storm is heading out of here, the cold is settling in. Parts of the Northeast already seeing up to 8 inches of snow, and in Tennessee, they'll be dealing with below freezing morning temperatures as they clean up from those tornadoes. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
And now here's Mac with the weather outside. Mac, was that system at all connected to any kind of the weather we've had here the last 24 hours?
Well, ironically, the frontal system that came through Friday night over the weekend gave us that strong north wind. Was part of that, but obviously there was a lot more instability up there. For us, we got hardly any rain. Everything was much stronger up there. Well, now we're in a whole new ball of wax here. We're looking at 46 degrees right now. It's chilly, but it's not 32 like it was yesterday morning. We did get up to 68. Tomorrow we'll be up into the 70s, and it'll be very cloudy because we're getting ready for the next frontal system coming in on Friday. This one has quite a bit of rain on it, so we'll talk about it coming up in a moment. Well, good evening, everyone. It's down into the 40s, so it's going to be a chilly night, but not as clear and cold as it was this morning. You probably saw the little frost on the windshield of the car or here or there, but it was not a widespread freeze. We touched 32 right at about sunrise for 1 hour, and then it started warming up. Tonight, we're in the 40s, as you can see, pretty much around here, except for a few 50s along the coast. But what you will see here on our wind map is that the winds are now definitely out of the east and the southeast. Tomorrow, we're going to warm up into the 70s, and we're going to get a lot of this cloud cover that's just off the coast. It'll be kind of making it mostly cloudy for the next day or so as we get ready for the next big thing. Now, you'll notice how a lot of cloud cover is rolling in from the west. That's a completely different system that is going to be organizing right about here. It's going to be a very interesting development. We've got some cold air up here. We've got moisture coming in from the Pacific, and of course we've got that as well. But right about here over New Mexico, we're going to see a storm develop, and we're going to go one day at a time here. By tomorrow, you can see the low beginning to move. And then by the time the low gets into the southwest, right about there, you can see the snow and the rain and the wind that's going to be developing. It's just going to be a real winter storm by Wednesday. By Thursday, it starts really pouring in far west Texas with snow up in Amarillo. And then on Friday, it rolls right into our area, right about there. Now, this one has a lot more moisture in it, and it has a lot more upper, shall we say, vertical movement in it. So the rainfall totals may be impressive, talking possibly up to a half an inch, maybe more than that. So I think your Friday is going to be pretty soggy. By Saturday morning, the thing pulls out of here pretty rapidly. As it pulls away, we'll get the drier air, so half of your Saturday will be okay. Your Sunday will be fairly nice, but in the meantime, the rain will be fairly significant around our area on Friday. Now, here are the morning low temperatures getting down obviously into the low 40s, 45 for the city. And for tomorrow afternoon, we'll warm up to almost 70 degrees in most areas with an east wind blowing, as you see right about there. So your day planner for those of you in Port Lavaca, starting off at 53, getting up to 68. We're looking for increasing clouds and a little bit stronger of an east wind or a sea breeze coming in. And then for Cuero, we're starting down to 45 in the morning, up to about 70 in the afternoon. We're going to call it partly cloudy out there. Now, the clouds will be increasing. You'll be feeling the moisture sort of develop over the next day or so. Wednesday, we're probably going to call it mostly cloudy. Thursday, we start really overcast and maybe a little light shower activity. But really, the main event is Thursday night through all of Friday. Then the front comes through. Now, it's not, you know, a classic blue norther, but it will knock the temperatures down into the low upper 50s. But the thing here is the amount of rain we're going to get on Friday. So just keep that in mind. By the time we get to Saturday, things will start clearing up. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that and put Crossroads Today on your phone. And now it's time for Zach Brown with sports.
Well, the Tidehaven Tigers have a shot to win a state title, but they'll have to beat the best to do it. I'll have what they're saying coming up in sports. Pivotal showdown Sunday night in Arlington and a battle for first place between the Cowboys and the Eagles. Head coach Mike McCarthy coming back from surgery. And speaking of surgery, Dak Prescott picking apart the Eagles defense. Going to hit University of Oklahoma great CD for the TD to strike first. The Cowboys defense smothering Jalen Hurts. Sacked there from Micah Parsons. Dallas getting everyone involved. Later on in this one, Dak going to find Brandon Cooks, former Houston Texan, down at the 1-yard line, and they let him finish the job off. Easy 1-yard touchdown reception on 2nd and goal. The Eagles did try to get back in this one with a third-quarter scoop and score, but Dallas pulled away. They get an important 33-13 victory, and for the moment, hold first place in the division. And that will lead us to your viewer poll. Are the Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl contenders? Yes or no? And we got 63% of people saying yes, 37% say no. I'm a Texans fan. It pains me to say this. They are as of now. And speaking of the Texans, Tank Dell out for the year, Nico Collins questionable at best as of now, and C.J. Stroud officially in concussion protocol. Stroud took a very hard hit from Jets D lineman Quentin Williams late in the fourth quarter. He would lay on the ground for a few minutes before finally sitting up and walking off under his own power. He would not return. The Texans currently at 7-6 and are the 8th seed. Division matchup against Tennessee this Sunday. Davis Mills would be the likely starter if Stroud can't go. And speaking of the Titans, they just had an incredible come-from-behind victory over the Dolphins just 2 days after Ring of Honor inductee Frank Wycheck was found dead in his Chattanooga home. Wycheck was just 52 years old. The cause is from an apparent fall. Wycheck, well known for his lateral in the Music City Miracle. The Titans releasing a statement saying, quote, Frank's name was synonymous with Titans football. He was a huge part of our team's success both on and off the field. He embraced this community and fan base immediately, and everyone loved him right back. Well, it's a big week for some local guys. The Tidehaven Tigers getting ready for a state championship game. They will get the Gunter Tigers, who are the defending state champs and have won 30-plus games in a row. They know the task at hand. They feel like they're built for it, and at the same time aware it's going to take their absolute best to leave Arlington with a victory.
I gave a speech before the first practice that we have to have 3 of the best practices we've ever had in our lives. And I think the intensity level for everybody's up. Yeah, man, we're just on another level right now.
At the end of the day, it's just another game, and just trying to do whatever it takes to get the win at the end of the day. That's all that matters.
And for students, just happy because no school for them on Thursday. And Don, the Houston Rockets have extended the Spurs losing streak to 17 games, and that's not the longest losing streak in the league. The Pistons, losers of 20 in a row, the Rockets, winners of their last 10 home games. That's it for your sports. Don, back to you.
Maybe, Zach, the Spurs will play the Pistons in another one of those in-season tournaments to determine the worst team in the league. Well, wouldn't that be interesting?
It would be very interesting. I always feel like they should have a battle for who will win the first overall pick. So I kind of like your idea, the battle of the 2 worst.
There you go. That's better than the lottery. All right, Zach, thanks. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now. After Monday Night Football, we'll take a last look at your weather. Plus, a man from Temple wins a national prize for his mustache. I hear he won by a whisker. Christmas is now just 2 weeks away. Yeah, and a recent Gallup poll shows consumers are spending an average of $975 on gifts this year. That's up $100 from a year ago. If you have not shipped those packages to loved ones yet, the window is closing. Experts at the Mail Center say you have until next Wednesday, the 20th, to ship off items if you want them to arrive for Christmas. One tip experts say is to ship early. The Mail Center offers services with a variety of carriers. AAA reports that predicts that over 115 million Americans will travel 50 miles or more from home over the 10-day year-end holiday travel period. That makes it the second highest number of travelers since 2000, when the agency began tracking holiday travel. AAA also warned that Saturday, December 23rd and Thursday, December 28th will be the highest volume travel days, so expect longer travel times and plan accordingly. And by the way, AAA Texas also predicts 8.3 million Texans will be on the roads this holiday season. But how about the people on the road for the next 24 hours around here?
Oh, they'll do fine. I mean, in fact, this morning is when it was cold. Tomorrow morning it'll be chilly, but not as cold. But weather-wise, we're fine in this area. When we were looking for Friday, that's when the traffic people got to be ready. Friday is a frontal system. It's a big rainmaker, probably more than a half an inch of rain right now. And it's not only just here in the Crossroads, but it's pretty much the entire state. So if you do have traveling plans, you know, you're heading out early, just keep in touch with us. We'll let you know how the weather's doing.
All right. Thank you, Mac. And finally tonight, a man from Temple is known across the country in some circles for his facial hair. Quinny's been sporting that look since 2014. In 2019, he competed against others with his impressive facial hair. Since then, the 36-year-old has won 3 national titles, including winning Best Groomed Mustache at the National Beard and Mustache Championships last month. Quinny says he plans to keep competing and hopes to launch his own mustache grooming mixture. And his fans gave him a special shirt for this competition, rooting him on.
Yes.
Yeah, it was the goatee.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, okay. All right, thanks for joining us for 25 News Now after Monday Night Football. News sunrise at 5 a.m. Good night, everybody.